What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. This is Snacking and Hanging, the Loading Snacks podcast, episode 57. Usual suspects of the Loading Snacks crew here in the building with me. Sin, say hi.
Hello, how are you today?
Man, I said say hi. I didn't say hello. But
I know,
all right,
I just
that's
want to
cool.
do it that way. That's all.
Y'all speak back. New Joker, speak to the folks.
Hey.
My man, always with the Dwayne. Hey for what's happening. I don't even know if you know what that is.
Yes, I do.
You know what's happening is?
I do.
Oh, so you know you stole that. That's what's up. You know you took that. All right, so we got a couple things on the docket today. We're gonna revisit a slightly more in depthly this Xbox Game Pass thing, cross with a little something else. We are going to talk about our Nintendo Switch early impressions and Zelda early impressions, and our Horizon Zero Dawn impressions. So that's what we have on the docket today, gentlemen. We will bring up Logan briefly. We will not spoil it. We will bring it up, though. As a matter of fact, why don't we just talk about Logan
just
now?
get it out the way.
Can we do that? Is that okay?
Sure.
Can we just talk about Logan now?
Sure.
I mean, I would really like to keep this video game focused, but Logan, I think because Wolverine has what I am going to say is the best video game movie adaptation ever made, we're going to give him some leeway here.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. That was that joke was pretty dope.
It's pretty much the best joint. I just went and saw Logan again. Like, I just left the theater again. So I just saw it for my second time. Went with my mother to go see Logan.
Okay.
She did not cry like Sin did.
Whatever.
Hey, listen, Logan is pretty awesome, guys. Am I alone on this?
No, you are not.
Fox kind of came through. With
Did they?
They came through with the clutch with this one. Yeah, they really did. They really and truly
they
did.
Deadpooled it.
Like I wasn't.
They Deadpooled it.
Like I said when we talked about the trailer when it first got released, the trailer didn't impress me at all. But the movie was they won that R rating. Yes, that's
good
that.
God.
Yes, that is what Wolverine needed. And I thought it was a fantastic send off for like the Wolverine and the X-Men franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey. Well, I mean, I don't know if we can call it a send-off for the X-Men franchise, but it's definitely a good send-off for the storyline as it exists. Because I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it. This movie takes place, it's Old Man Logan, so this takes place in 2029. You know what I mean? Like, the current state of X-Men movies have been taking place way prior to then,
definitely.
prior to now, under many circumstances, meaning that Wolverine could be in any of those movies, really. He could certainly be in the Deadpool movie because that is certainly going to take place prior to 2029.
Right.
So, look, let me just give a shout-out to this young lady, Daphne King. X-23.
Hey, look.
with no lines, for real, for the most part. You know what I mean? Yeah. The ones that she had to deliver, she delivered. Like,
even when she wasn't
saying
anything,
moment,
she was killing.
She was delivering.
Yeah,
she was delivering. Like, and I want to say, there's a moment. I mean, I don't really consider this a spoiler, but there is a moment where she punches Wolverine in the face.
That was epic.
And that joint is so classic. It's so classic.
It was a good one. It was a good one too.
It was a really good little whopping. Like, one. Yeah. You know, look, the thing is, man, this movie has really been a long time in the making. 17 years in the making. Again, I don't want to dwell on it too long. We all liked it. What did it pull in, like 31 million on Friday? Something like that. So yeah, I mean they did it justice.
I will say
The
one
other
thing.
thing I
Oh, I
want
was
to
gonna
talk
say one
about.
thing
Go
about
ahead.
piggybacking off X23. When I came home, first
Yeah.
thing I told my wife was, a lot of people are gonna have a new favorite character now.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like you
Harley
gonna see
Quinn.
a
Harley Quinn's been replaced.
yeah, like you gonna see like this is the new she the new joint now. Like for
Yeah.
real.
Harley
Yeah,
Quinn is replaced until this Wonder Woman movie comes out.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna last for a little
yeah.
bit. But when Wonder Woman
But
drops, if it does anything, it's going. Yeah, but you're
yeah,
right. You're absolutely right. Um, I wanna take a moment and give a shout out to Fox for doing something unprecedented. They announced before the movie came out that there would be no after credit scene. Okay, that's not unprecedented. So listen, don't bother wasting your time staying after the credits. You know, in Deadpool they did a mid credit scene, and then there was an after credit scene. What did they do in this one? Before credit
before
scene.
credit, like
A before
before,
credit
yeah.
scene that didn't. But listen, but that didn't have anything to do with this movie, which is very interesting. I think. It essentially was an additional trailer, which now has been released as
The official
the
teaser,
teaser
right?
trailer for Deadpool 2. But when it starts, it just seems like the movie's starting, and you don't really know that's what it is. It's kind of awesome, people. You can't. It's kind of not a spoiler now because you can just watch it. But I just want to say that I think that's really one of the new best ways to do something like that. And I'm just saying that from the standpoint of so often so many people miss important pieces of information because they tend to give you really good important pieces of information after the movie's over. And many people leave, like we complain about it every time. Why does everybody keep leaving? You haven't learned in
You
all
know
these
what?
years not to leave before the movie's
Funny
over?
this time. We got up to
People
leave.
stay.
People would stay. I was like, do they know there's nothing here this time? I
Yeah,
feel like I
like
should make it. I
yeah.
feel like I should make an announcement to everybody. Like, hey, there's nothing after this
Yep.
time. We can all
But
leave.
that's what I felt like. I mean, I tried doing that when we knew there was something at the end of every one. So it
But
doesn't work
continue.
either
Sorry.
way, you know. But yeah, I just think that's interesting, and
Hello.
I'm wondering whether or not this is going to be a new trend. Whether or not they started something here, where we'll start to see stuff like this at the beginning of a film. You know, that doesn't necessarily have to do with some kind of secret thing that you got to wait for or whatever. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Anything else you guys want to say about Logan other than go see it?
Yeah. Go. That's it. Pretty much.
Go
Just
see it.
if you haven't seen it, go see it. It was
Go
in.
check it
Shout
out.
out to Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart for all
All
them
right, so
years of
then
Wolverine and Professor
let's go right
X.
into this. Last week we we caught wind of this Xbox Game Pass. And I don't want to get too heavy into Game Pass again. We'll do a quick refresher. Microsoft announced $10 a month. You'll have access to like 100 games that you can download and play directly off of your Xbox One or PC, and it doesn't stream, so you don't have to worry about streaming and that kind of thing. There's a little bit more to it, but that's the gist of it, right,
Yep.
gentlemen?
Yep.
I
Right on
think the way
point.
people been putting is
Okay,
Netflix for Xbox One. Kind of.
correct. They are, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like that
Mm-hmm.
name. So I don't really like the idea of it being because Netflix is a streaming
I feel you.
service. And I think that one of the points they're really trying to make is that this is not a streaming
Right.
service. Because this has been done before in terms of stuff like On Live, right? Or Game Tap or something. You know what I mean? Like there's been some other stuff that's tried to do this that didn't do it successfully. But they were from outside sources. They weren't from your main, game, your system producers or whatever. So this is a little different. The reason why I bring this back up is because it made me think a few weeks further back, we had a quick discussion about whether or not it was time for something to change with Xbox Live and go from Xbox Live Gold to Platinum. And what kind of things we would maybe like to see happen if they were going to introduce a new tier of Xbox Gold that included some additional things,
Right.
like maybe having Netflix already as a part of it or something like that, right? So now that Game Pass is coming, just kind of got my wheels turning, and I'm wondering whether or not, because I don't see Game Pass as being the last thing that Microsoft does with this. Microsoft has put a lot of effort into their TV and video media side of things too. and I have an Xbox Music Pass that comes from
Years
years
ago.
back when it was a
Jeez.
Zune Pass.
Yes,
So
yes.
I still have it. I stream my music directly through it, use my OneDrive and all that kind of stuff, and have access to all this music, blah, 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 whatever. But for a few dollars more a year, and we can talk pricing or whatever later, the idea of there being maybe an Xbox Live Platinum service that includes a Game Pass or includes a movie and TV pass now, where, yep, all of these movies and things that are in our library you can watch and stream. And if you know, and they got to be careful about it, because you can do, like, Netflix through it, you can do Amazon through it, you can do Hulu through it, so you got to be careful with it. But if they're gonna have a service that allows you to do something like that, if they want to kind of compete, I can see them doing this, especially on the heels of YouTube announcing their paid for TV, live TV service that they have now. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, I saw that.
So $35 a month
What is
for
actually involved in? Because I saw it, but I didn't like really look into it. So what
yeah, I
exactly
mean,
is it for me and the people that may not know?
the basics of it are that you will be able to stream, watch live TV from, like, the majors, so ABC, NBC, Fox, those guys. Like, you'll be able to stream and so forth directly from them, but you um we'll also be able to, obviously, you'll have like YouTube Red, and there will be other channels, Bravo, stuff like that. It's basically like, it's like Sling TV, or you know what I
Okay.
mean, like Direct TV Now, or one of those. It's a lot like PlayStation View is. It's just done through YouTube, which probably has the strongest and most robust streaming capabilities of anyone,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. And it's like 35 bucks a month. So, again, I'm just wondering whether or not, you know, the idea of, Microsoft kind of leaning into this. Do we think we may see a change coming with E3? They've said Phil Spencer came out and said, in an interview he was doing on IGN's Xbox podcast Unlocked. They sat down with him right after Game Pass was announced, and he kind of talked about some of the ins and outs of it, and some of what their plans and so forth for it were, and why they were doing it. And I think in the long and short of it, the idea really isn't necessarily to bring in a bunch of new Xbox, like, people. You know what I mean? Like, you're a huge Sony fan, so now there's this Game Pass thing. You should, get an
Mm-hmm.
Xbox. I think it's really more something to take advantage of or monetize people who are already there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who are already fans, or kind of know there's a good, strong library back there somewhere that they want to have access to and play. Um, like, if you've never been an Xbox fan, then knowing that you can go back and play a bunch of old Xbox games doesn't really do anything for you if you don't care about them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in kind of looking at the landscape, he came out and kind of cleared it out and said, they asked him directly, like, are we likely to see them do kind of a separate event for Scorpio prior to E3? And he said, while things aren't solidified just yet, they really would like to keep their E3 conference, about the games. So this move that we again talked about just a couple of weeks ago, where they went from having, their normal press conference on Monday to Sunday at 2
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get things out, and everybody's like, oh, Scorpio, whatever. Like, they're making it sound like they're probably going to do something ahead of that is a Scorpio event,
Right.
to probably reveal the box, maybe
Maybe
talk about pricing.
I was
Maybe
gonna
they'll
say
just
maybe
reveal it
something
and say
like
what it can do, and they won't reveal pricing until
I was gonna
E3.
say something probably like a PlayStation like separate like did a PlayStation Pro thing itself separate like just they'll do a
Right.
Scorpio thing by
Right. The
itself.
difference,
But since it's on
right. Well, I
E3, yeah,
mean,
it'll be
they,
different.
the PlayStation Pro was done after
Right.
E3, and was quite uneventful. This is probably going to be more like, if you remember, before the Xbox One came out, they did an event before E3 to like introduce it and show what it was. And so did Sony with the PlayStation 4. They did a separate event prior to E3 to kind of introduce it and what have you. So I think the idea of kind of getting it and the hardware and a lot of those questions out of the way prior to
Mm-hmm.
um, is kind of at the forefront. But it leaves a lot of space open for what it is they're going to do. To me, that means, okay, if you're not planning to hold announcements about the hardware and so forth itself for E3, if you're probably going to do that ahead of time because you want to focus on games, there are probably going to be some other announcements that come along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering whether or not, yeah, we're going to see some other version, some other form of Xbox Live, which I kind of think it might be time for. Obviously, when you look at $60 a year for Xbox Live and then $10 a month for Game Pass, that's like 180. That's $120 a year for Game Pass. So $180 a year. Um, that's a lot of money already. So the question becomes, at what point can they charge you for it, have it in for a year, and still have it be worth the money for them? And I think where it's going to be is going to be if people who have access to these games actually begin to make purchases.
Right.
Like, I have this 20% discount on this game that nobody's
Mm-hmm.
been thinking about. I kind of like it. It might leave, it'll be like, are they going to tell us what games are rotating in and out? You know what I mean? Or whatever, so that you have the opportunity to buy them before they go away. Oh man, 20% off. I do like this game. I have been playing it. Let me go ahead and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever for the 20% off. And therefore, because it's 20% off of the game if you're a Game Pass member, 10% off of the DLC for those games if there's DLC that's available for them. And maybe that's how they'll monetize it. So I just want to get you guys' take. Tell me what you guys think about this and whether or not you think that this might be something that we would see coming forward. I'm asking you for an E3 prediction already.
Yeah, I think we may. I think we may see something along the lines of that because, just like you said, like pricing of it. And don't get me wrong, if it's something that you like, you're gonna go ahead and jump in. You're gonna get it anyway. You're gonna stick with it. But like for me,
Yeah.
if you tell me, oh hey, sign up for this, if you pay all out, you'll save like $20, 20, $30. Even that little bit, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I'm getting
Yeah.
everything all under the sun for that. Now, who knows? Maybe we'll throw in two types of tiers. So maybe you're the type of person that likes to pay the monthly subscription versus being the person that just likes to pay out for the year. Maybe there'll be something a little bit different in there. So maybe two or three types of tiers for the monthly. Just your normal Xbox Live, or maybe Xbox Live plus the Game Pass, and who knows, maybe throw something else in there as well too. Because I
Yeah.
mean, still got a little ways to go until E3, and then a little bit ways to go till the Scorpio actually releases. So I would think they will want to have something ready to go, especially that'll be exclusive to that Scorpio. That maybe they'll also
Right.
tie right into it. Maybe, hey, if you're planning on buying the Scorpio at launch, we're going to give you some form of a discount maybe on the Xbox Live Game Pass subscription. But of course, if you get it, if you get a Game Pass when it first comes out, maybe they'll reward you somehow for being that loyal, we've been there since day one type of thing. But I
Yeah.
think it would definitely be a good idea to try to jump on it with the Scorpio launching.
I agree. I agree. What do you think, Sin?
I don't know about whether it'll be, well, if you're going to announce something like that, yeah, E3 would be the one. Whether it happens, I'm not really sure. But I do agree that something is going to change with Xbox Live with all
Mm-hmm.
these moves that they're making. And from the stuff we're hearing, it looks like it's going to be for the better. I do agree with you. I do think something like a
Yeah.
platinum service or an elite service would definitely be not only in their best interest, but our best interest as well. To include like their own subscriptions and all that kind of stuff, like the Game Pass and Xbox
Yeah.
Live, and who knows what else they got. Like you mentioned, the music thing. You know what I mean? All accompanied into one big massive. Especially since they're doing this play, they're on this play anywhere kind of thing with all their devices. So I I do agree a change is coming.
Yeah.
And honestly, the way we've been just kind of thinking and talking about the past couple weeks, I'm looking forward to it. Like Xbox has been doing a lot of good, a lot of good announcements, a lot of good things coming. Xbox Pass was a home run out the park. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm I'm excited. I'm getting more and more excited to what they have to say coming up soon at E3 right now. I can't
I'm
wait.
with you. I'm with you. I mean, I certainly think that, some level of discount if you're a gold member or a platinum member, maybe the Game Pass for you is $7.99 instead of $9.99 or something like that. Or I don't, I don't know for sure, but I definitely think we're going to start to see some other forms of monetization coming from them, because I think that Microsoft is highly focused on trying to do what Apple is doing. I think that there's a mindset at Microsoft where, as a software company, they look at Apple as their biggest rival, right?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly they're losing the battle on the phone front for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the computing front, they're not. And then they also have this whole division in Xbox that is fighting this war against Sony, and for all intents and purposes, in a lot of ways, against Nintendo as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that not necessarily as a gaming platform as much as it is a logistical platform in terms of the regions where they exist, because Nintendo and Sony are both Japanese based companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Microsoft has an extra check in the box when it comes to difficulty in kind of making some things happen, because they're an American company.
True.
There just really is no two ways about that.
True.
So I think that there's a mindset at Microsoft that says, okay, we're fighting this war on two fronts, and we've been trying to. You've seen more since, Microsoft has kind of been taken over by Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer on this front, that they've kind of done a lot more to try to merge these worlds together and not treat Xbox so much as kind of like this stepchild that's kind of off to the side that is making money, but they've been kind of merging these things again, Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
Xbox Anywhere, that kind of stuff. So I think that the mindset is we need to do what Apple did and create a platform where all of your stuff is accessible to you wherever you are. And even if Xbox is losing in terms of how many consoles are in the home that are Xbox One, there still are or were plenty of Xbox 360s that were in households. And on the portable front, fighting against Nintendo, well, most of these homes have a laptop, and the majority of those
Mm-hmm.
are Windows based, not Mac based, which again puts portable gaming in some way, shape, or
And
form
Surface tablets, yeah.
back in the court. Yeah. And so now, if you've got an Xbox Live account, and you've got a Game Pass, and you have a Music Pass, and you have a movie TV pass, then essentially all of the stuff that you have that's under this one name is all there for you, which is the thing that Nintendo struggles with wholeheartedly across the board, because how many times have you bought A Link to the Past? You know what I'm saying? Over and over again on multiple consoles, where really you should have one uniform place where it's like, yeah, I bought that already, so can I have access to it again, please? Kind of thing. And Sony no longer does computing, no longer in phones, no, you know what I mean? Doesn't have the same number or places in terms of outlets. And so when it comes to the idea of Microsoft, well, are you going to create a portable console a la the Switch? Well, not really. You know what I mean? We're just going to kind of get into mobile gaming here and there, give you Xbox Live achievements for some of those, and then Game Pass kind of thing. So I do think we're going to see some changes. I think we're probably going to see a change to Xbox Live. Exactly what it is, I don't know. But I wanted to kind of pick your brains a little bit about it and just kind of bring it to the table.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to do now is take a quick break.
Okay.
And then come back and let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. Does that sound like a good
That
idea?
sounds like
Absolutely. Let's
excellent
rock.
idea.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I biggity bet it does. All right, we'll be right back. And we are back. Gentlemen, some big things happened this past week. Ain't that true?
Ja like it.
Just a little
I'm
bit.
not I'm not I'm not making it up, am I?
Nah,
I mean,
nah,
it's a
nah.
true
You ain't never
thing.
lie. You ain't never lie.
Dig it, dig it. So the Nintendo Switch, we did a live unboxing
That we did.
uh via Facebook Live as well as
Instagram.
via Instagram Live. New Joker and Sin both okay, they unboxed the new Jokers, but both of them had them
Right.
there live at the time. Um, filmed it, it'll be up on YouTube sooner than later. So you guys can check that out if you haven't seen it or haven't watched one already or have any questions or want to see what our first impressions opening the box were and you weren't present to see it happen live. What I am most interested in now is what you guys think of the hardware. A couple of days in. Where are we now? What do we think? Have you guys experienced any of the hardware issues that other people are reporting with the Joy Cons and so forth? Why don't you start, New Joker? Tell me where we are.
Cool. So I mean, so far, I mean, I'm enjoying it. Like, the only game I picked up right now is Zelda, um, and just because everything else that it came out, I mean, it didn't really pique my interest like that. So I was like, let me just stick with Zelda for now, play through that, and maybe I'll pick up another one. But and just when I first picked up the Switch, I kind of just started going through like the menu and the settings, just looking to see what really was there for us to access now. Of course, like if you go into Nintendo's eShop, you only can purchase right now. It looks like I think it was 9 games that were in there. A couple of them haven't come out yet. Um,
Right.
as far as messing around with it, I haven't seen any necessarily issues that I've personally encountered. The only thing, like earlier, I had just tried to dock my Switch on and actually have it pop up to my television screen. Initially, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Now, I had fooled around with the cables a little bit and it still didn't work. But this time I went and I just unhooked the HDMI cable, pushed it in. So I don't know if maybe it just I didn't have it seated properly in there or whatnot ever, but that was a quick little fix. So I'm pretty sure that's probably just something on my part that I did than anything else. Um,
User error
just
joint.
a little bit. At least I didn't try to put my Switch in the dock upside down. At least, I mean, Logan kind of did that
Who did
live
that?
on there, but
Okay.
Who did
Okay.
that?
Okay.
the Sin guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Shots. Shots.
Payback is
But
you know what. Okay.
but other than that, I've been playing through Zelda. I think Sin's gotten a little bit further in Zelda than I have, but I've enjoyed it so far. I'm noticing I'm liking it better actually playing it as the portable unit itself than on the television. At least for
Okay.
Zelda. At least for Zelda right now. Um, and I've played with.
Well, I will say that reports have been coming in. Like Digital Foundry did a whole thing on it that Zelda seems to actually be playing better on the screen than it does on your TV. Like when it's docked. Like when it's docked, it's not performing as well, which is
Yeah, very
interesting.
interesting. And
Yeah.
I haven't run into.
Why do you think you're enjoying it better as a portable than on your TV?
As much as I play, like say, I play my Nintendo 3DS. Um, it's a little different. Granted, I play games on a tablet, but for the most part, when I play games on a tablet, they're kind of just your rinky dink type of game. Nothing like like a full open type environment like a Zelda, and I feel like it's just for me, it's a little different, and I like it. Um,
Well, they're also touchscreen, right? I mean, isn't that a kind of a major thing compared to like a 3DS?
true. I mean,
I
you
mean,
have touch
if you're
on.
playing
I
on a
mean,
tablet, it's just.
technically,
No, I'm just saying that like if you when you play on
Yeah,
the
like
tablet
tab.
is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
touch
true there.
versus if you're
Um,
playing 3DS. So
But I mean, just for me personally, at least just for as of Zelda, I like playing it more of just with the console in my hand. It's been pretty cool. I've been walking around my house with it. It's like in
mhm.
certain instances, like I didn't have to like if I needed to go, like I went to go make some food earlier. I took my Switch with me, and while my food was cooking,
Right.
I'm sitting there playing my Switch.
Okay.
Which
Don't
was
burn anything, but okay.
which is really cool. I mean, instead of me having to really truly pause, walk away, come back, I just took it with me, which was kind of sweet. Um, And as
Okay.
much as initially as where I said, I'm probably gonna hook this up, I'm gonna play it on my TV, it's not gonna move. I'm totally opposite parallel of that now. I will be moving around, especially if I go to work. I'm gonna be playing this on break, like straight up. I thought this was gonna
Okay.
be. I was gonna hook it to the TV. I was gonna go in that dock. Maybe on occasion it comes out every now and then. But just seeing how, at least so far, how it's played, I'm pretty content that I'm gonna be moving around quite frequently with my Switch.
So now, having mostly played in portable mode, how's the battery life been?
Um, the battery life has been pretty. It's been pretty well. I gave it a
Yeah.
full charge, 100%. Took it all the way up. Um, and I played Zelda for, I would say, for like an hour straight maybe. And the
Okay.
battery life, it honestly, it didn't. I think I ended up maybe at like 70 some percent, somewhere around in there. Now, granted, I wouldn't tweak
Okay.
the I tweaked the settings a little bit, turn the brightness down a little
Dim the
bit,
screen and
certain
stuff
little
like
things
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that helped out a lot. Um, but other than that, I mean, it the battery life seems to be a little bit better than what I think we initially thought of. Now, of course, granted, maybe when we heard some of the initial reactions of what the battery life was going to be, probably was running on, bright, the settings turned all the way up or whatnot ever. But it seems like
Right.
if you
Worst
make,
case scenario.
yeah, so it seems like if you tweak and do some of those little adjustments in there, the battery life is definitely going to last a little bit longer.
Okay.
Even in sleep mode, like I left it off the dock overnight. In sleep mode, the battery didn't even drain down that far. I was very surprised at that. Um,
Okay.
I was still expecting, even though it was in sleep mode, the battery to still kind of trickle out pretty quickly, but it didn't.
Well, that's a plus. Sin,
Yeah.
talk to me. You've been mostly playing on the TV with it docked, or what are we looking at?
I TV, yes, mostly, but I've actually been experimenting with TV mode, tablet mode, propping it up with the little kickstand, playing it with the Joy-Con separated. Trying to really feel out the Switch. First
Right.
thing, that eShop, I agree. That thing is a barren wasteland right now. But as we get closer to the fall and they start charging people for it, hopefully that changes. But that thing is nothing in there but like the games he said. That's it. Uh, the Switch itself, I agree. Like I left mine in sleep mode overnight off dock, and it barely drained, which is real
Mm.
cool when I woke up in the morning. TV mode, I mean, it's like playing games on the TV. Didn't really notice. Maybe a hiccup once in a blue moon when I'm playing Zelda, so that might be what those people are talking about, where it runs better on one than
Okay.
the other. But nothing like that really, really stood out to be like, oh, what's going on? This is terrible. We shouldn't be doing that. Nothing like that. Uh, I did put it in kickstand mode today, and I played it with the Joy-Con separate. Thought that was going to feel really, really awkward, but it just feels interestingly different. I don't know how else to put it, but it doesn't feel bad, but it's not normal at the same time. You know what I mean? Like having
Yeah.
the one in the one hand and one in the other, and but I was playing, and I wasn't really missing a beat. Once I started to get used to it, it's like okay, cool, I can do this in a pinch, not a problem. Uh, I definitely agree with him off the, like I'm doing stuff. I'm sitting there, Toya's trying to clean. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Hold up, I gotta pause this. Put them Joy Cons next to it, take it, go to the bathroom with it. Went upstairs to sleep tonight,
Right.
took it with me, woke up in the morning, sat in the bed, kept playing, having a good time. It doesn't look bad, it doesn't feel bad when you're playing on the tablet at all. Uh, Especially since the green is a lot bigger than you realize, well, since you're looking at cell phones all day. You know what I mean? Like when you're on this, like you can see things clearly. It doesn't feel bad. It feels good. It feels a little wider, I would say, when you're holding it than you're used to, but you'll get accustomed to that, after a couple, not a few minutes, but like, of playing it. Um, the touchscreen is real responsive. I've been playing with that. Been messing around with the features. I uploaded a screenshot from Facebook recently. Uploaded a screenshot from the Switch to Facebook. Uh, cool that you could do it. They take the snaps the picture instantly, but typing all that stuff in right now, the way everything is set up, just takes a long time.
Right.
But
I could.
yeah, it
Yeah,
just takes
that
yeah,
makes
it takes a
sense.
really long time. And that's probably mostly because I'm used to gaming. Like probably all of us here are used to gaming on a PlayStation or Xbox, and the button you use to say okay to things and the button you use to back out of things are reversed.
It's
Yeah,
backwards
on
on
Nintendo, so things are so
the
reversed. Like
Yeah, it
Nintendo
you
is.
keep,
systems.
yeah, you keep messing up, which I find myself,
Yeah.
starting to do less of now in Zelda. But dropping something, got to pick it back up. Just messing up with stuff like that because everything's reversed over here. But overall,
Yeah, it's funny because it's the same button. It's the B button to go backwards, but the B button and the A button are in different
mm-hmm,
places.
Mm-hmm.
The B button is at the bottom on Nintendo controllers, and it's on the right
yep.
side, or it's the circle button
But
on a PlayStation controller.
but so
So the
far,
placement is just different.
yeah. But so far, I actually love this. I like it so far. I like the system. I do think there are three things that people absolutely need uh, at some point, hopefully early in their Switch life. One is a carrying case. Like go get
Agreed on that.
one is go get a carrying case for that thing because you do not want to drop this thing and break it, and it feels loose in your hand when you're walking it around. It just doesn't. You need something a little bit more secure for it. So a carrying case. Two, an extra adapter to charge it. Because right now,
Hmm.
like when you set it up to your home system, so we like everybody else, we run our stuff behind that, entertainment system. You open up the door because the dock has a door you open up that you plug it into. You plug in the thing.
Right.
But if you wanted to take, if you want to take it over go, let's say Easter's coming up, we're going to our family's house for Easter, in-laws' house, and you want to take it with you, but you want to make sure the battery don't drain. So you know what I mean. You want to take your charger, well, you have to go behind it, unhook it, because that's the only way to charge it. Because you have to, you know what I'm saying, when you're on the go. So I suggest buying an extra
Right.
AC adapter for the Switch itself. Have an extra one on hand, and go buy a charging cradle for the Joy Cons. Because right now the only way to charge the Joy Cons is when they're connected to the Switch and sitting in the cradle. I mean, sitting like
Right. They
sitting in
got
the
to be
dock. Yeah,
docked.
sitting.
They got to be in the
That's the only way
dock.
to charge them. But you can go buy a cradle that has a charging port on it.
They have a controller, like the one that comes with the system, so that when you're playing it, in say kickstand mode, or if you have it docked, and
Mm-hmm.
you
You talking about the
they
Pro
have a
Controller?
version of that is a charger.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's a all right. The piece that you snap the actual Joy Cons
Yeah,
onto
the cradle.
that sits in the center that makes the Joy Cons like a
Yeah.
controller. They have a version of it that is a charger. It basically it plugs in. Like you can plug it in while you're
Yeah, that's
playing.
what I'm saying. That's what.
To charge it. It's not a separate charger.
Yeah,
You can use a battery
yeah, that's
charger.
what I'm saying. Like people
Yeah.
should get. I would recommend
Um.
getting that because of the fact you can't charge it
Yeah.
unless it's on the Switch itself. So if they die while you're playing, the only way to charge them is to connect them to the Switch and take it out of TV mode. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it just
Mm-hmm.
becomes a
Well,
hassle.
I would add an additional recommendation to that. I would recommend getting a portable battery. Because the Switch itself charges just using a USB C. And if you have a portable phone charger, like a portable charger that just has a USB port on it, then you can plug in a USB C, a USB C USB to USB cord, and you could charge it on the go. You could take that with you and plug
I'm
it in while you're going, which will also keep your Joy Cons charged
I'm
up.
glad you said that because I plan on
Um,
testing that tonight. With
yeah, you
I
can
plan on
use
testing that tonight.
a portable battery to charge it because it's just a USB C.
Sweet.
So it's just like my cell phone uses a USB C charger. So I actually have a couple of extras around. You could probably just come grab one from me. I got a couple extra laying around, but um yeah, I have them, and I have, I don't know, like three portable battery chargers for phones and stuff that I just usually keep in my bag when I'm traveling
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah.
That I usually use them to charge cell phones, but if they work on a Switch just the same.
Perfect.
So that's another recommendation that I would have. If if you're a person who's not gonna dock it very often, if you're the kind of person who's probably going to forget or is not gonna feel like getting out of bed to go charge it at
Hmm.
night, and is gonna be in sleep mode or whatever, and it might not get docked for a couple days, the Joy-Con battery life is supposed to be around 20 hours.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
While the system itself, depending on what you're doing, they say Zelda is like 2.5 to 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
but it may not be that long, on other things, or should be. They say anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on what you're
Right.
doing. Um, so having a portable charger could be a really big deal. And the thing about a USB C is that it quick charges. You can usually recharge something in a half an hour to 45 minutes completely, even if it's almost dead. So that's one of the great things about it being USB C. What I wanted to ask you, New Joker, really quickly is you bought a Pro
I
controller,
did.
but you've been basically playing portable. So have you even used the Pro controller? Does it feel? I wanted. I figured. You're gonna take it home. You're gonna dock it, playing it on the TV. You're gonna pull out the Pro controller and play it on that, and that's probably gonna feel better to you than playing, with the Joy Cons. Have you tried it?
And I've tried it. And I mean, yeah, it gives me the, the just the classic feel of using the controller in my hand, but I'm finding myself using the Joy-Cons more. Like after a while, I played with the Pro controller for a little bit, but just having the Joy-Cons in my hand and then just kind of, relaxing in my seat, it was
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
comfortable.
It's nice.
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
It
do
it was
agree.
really
They do
rather
feel.
comfortable just sitting back and having the Joy-Cons. I kind of had my hands at my side, and I was just using
Mm-hmm.
the Joy-Cons on, it, and it was real comfortable doing that.
They are.
Um,
They are more comfortable than they look to be. They are. I will say that.
So like I'm kind of happy either one way. I got the Pro controller. I know just because off the break, it's going to be very hard to get some of these accessories probably in the next at least in the next few days or so. Because I know when I picked my Pro controller up, I was actually one of the last ones that they had. So I'm kind of happy
Right.
I got it anyway. Because who knows? There may come a game where maybe I'd rather sit here and use the Pro controller versus using the Joy Cons. And who knows? It may be just a matter of preference of that game, but
Yeah.
I've just like on
Smash Brothers or something.
exactly. And now you know what? I don't know. Maybe I almost feel like with these Joy Cons, something like Smash Brothers came out, I'd probably be perfectly fine using
Nah.
the Joy Cons for it.
Interesting.
Uh
Mm,
oh.
eh.
My man
No,
said like, I
I
beg to
I'd
differ,
have to
sir.
try it because Smash Bros. In that GameCube controller is unbeatable. But of course, you got to move on to new things. Those are old ass controllers, so
Mm.
it'll be
But
Yeah,
you know,
I
they
think it just depends on what kind of stuff they add to
they'll
it
yeah,
as
probably
far as
make an
yeah.
moves or
adapter for you
abilities,
to
something
still
like
use
that
that
could just
GameCube
change it up.
controller.
And if
I would
they
not
do, I will
surprise
be
me.
fine. I will be fine if they do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you guys have an experience. A lot of people are complaining about specifically the left Joy-Con not being as responsive when you're playing, I guess mostly in TV mode or if you're in kickstand mode, that for some reason the signal in it is weaker than the one in the right. And I mean, across the board from IGN to Kotaku to Digital Foundry, they've been testing it and finding that everybody's saying they're having issues with that particular one where it will just stop working. Like it's not sending a signal or something to the system. And so hopefully they'll do an update. Maybe the day one update that they did was something that fixed it. Because most of these folks have been reviewing it prior to
Question:
that,
what
prior
is
to the release on
happening
Friday.
when they say it's losing a
What's
signal? Like, did
happening?
they specifically say? I'm only asking because, like, I've noticed, like, when you take it off the dock, you switch it back in, like, you take it out of sleep mode, they give you, like, push this button 3 times, now push this button on the trigger, and it wakes everything up, cuts it back on. Like, and I've noticed the left Joy-Con, it asks me to, pull the left trigger on that, then everything, goes just fine. I'm wondering if that's what they're saying.
No, no, no,
Is
no,
the
no,
problem?
no, no. What they're reporting is that literally, like, right, like in the middle of doing something or in the middle of playing, not like after you have to wake it back up or
Mm.
whatever, that like the controller itself stops being responsive.
Oh,
And that,
okay.
it uses Bluetooth. And so they've been testing things like to see whether or not it's because there's too many Bluetooth devices or something like that
Mm-hmm.
that are there. It literally seems like one guy was saying that, like literally just like a glass of water between like his left Joy-Con and the system itself seemed to be enough to prevent it from working properly.
Move the
And
glass of water.
just things of that, just a person being in the way of it can be enough to keep it from from responding correctly. So again, I'm glad to hear that you guys haven't had that. It doesn't necessarily seem to be
No,
everybody,
knock on wood. Yeah,
but a
I
lot of
agree.
people are complaining about that, at least in terms of sites that are reviewing it. So um, I'm glad you guys aren't having that issue specifically. Let's talk about Zelda a little bit. Let's talk about our impressions. There won't be any spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, but um, I mean, obviously, it's the same game. I'm playing Zelda on Wii U. It's the only game that I see as being worth it for the Switch, so not worth it to buy a Switch for me personally. I there would have to be some seriously serious gold cartridges out there for me to spend $360 to play Zelda. But um, what do you guys think so far of Zelda? I mean, it's the one game you guys have both been playing, so
Yeah,
don't necessarily need to know how far you are into it. Just want to know what you think and how you feel so far.
I think
uh,
so far it's great. Like I think it's exactly what Zelda was missing. Like this whole let's explore this world of Hyrule, this open world adventure. It feels open. It feels massive. I'm digging the layout of everything and how they structured everything. Uh, I'm having an absolute blast with the game so far. Like it's been a while since I've played a Zelda game, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a ball with it. I'm liking the sandbox elements. You know, they're kind of taken, from different places and little simulation stuff. Like I'm trying to figure out how to cook in the game. Like how do I cook this stuff? Okay, you gotta get a torch. You gotta light the torch. Then you gotta take the torch over to take torch over to the pot, light the pot. Then you have to carry the stuff over there too. Like okay, there's a little bit of simulation elements added in here to make it a little bit more a real life element to it. The temperature system in that thing ain't no joke. I will say that. That thing is no joke. Pay
Mm-hmm.
when you go to someplace cold or hot to make sure you have the things ready because it makes a huge difference. But it's I'm having a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I I think it's pretty dope right now for real. Like it's amazing.
Okay. All right, jokes. What about you?
I mean, I gotta agree with Sin. Now take it down. This will be my perspective from someone. I think the last time, I mean, I couldn't tell you when the last time I played. It would have had to be GameCube. I couldn't even tell you when the last time was I played a Zelda game. So I would say,
Okay.
I enjoy. I may not be the biggest Zelda fan in the world. So when I picked it up and started playing it, one, I didn't feel as though, oh, I've never played this or haven't played Zelda for so long. I'm just going to be an absolute lost cause when I come to it. But I don't feel that as being the case. I really like the open area aspect, which is really fun. Um, just like Sin said, the temperature part of the game is like I didn't, you know what, and I didn't really notice it at first until like you speak to a certain person and then they kind of give you a little hint kind of thing. So I went to this area where it became extremely cold
Mm-hmm.
and like literally my health just started deteriorating like that. Like it was like almost instantly gone. Like I literally had to turn around and just to start to run back to an area that was warm. And even once you get back, because you're still cold, like you have to give it a second for yourself to actually warm up before your health really will start to to stop losing itself. Otherwise, you literally are just gonna die. Um, I do
Mm-hmm.
like with the weapons. I may not be a big fan of, with certain weapons when you pick them up and you use them, they break after a certain period of time. So like I had a few weapons in my arsenal, and I got to a part where I had to fight like seven creatures, whatever you want to call them, at the same time, and I literally went through those weapons that I had. And that left me
Yeah, they break
vulnerable.
up
Like
pretty
literally,
quickly.
when you don't have a weapon, you're like you're just up the creek. Like you can't do anything. Um, so
You
you
can
have to
run.
go
I was
out
like, yeah,
and
run,
You can run.
you
or
can
pick
run.
up
Oh
or pick
yes,
up
I,
the
I, I
weapons that they
definitely know how to
dropped.
run on there. That definitely won't be the problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of gives you, it almost gives you like that, like a real scenario. Like your weapon breaks, oh, you're SOL. You need to just run for your life. Um,
Yeah.
but definitely, I'm enjoying it. I very much am. This is something I'll feel like I will play through to the very end. I don't feel like I'm gonna play this like for a few days and then I'm gonna shelf it. I'm definitely gonna be playing
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild for a good amount of time.
I can dig it. I'm gonna say that I'm opposite a bit from where you guys are on Zelda. I am lukewarm on it. Um, when they started making the announcements and showing it and kind of talking about all the stuff you could do and kind of what the game is and that kind of stuff, like, I enjoy Zelda. I enjoy a good Zelda game. I haven't really enjoyed a solid Zelda game probably since Wind Waker first released on the
Is that
GameCube.
that's the one with the boat?
The game since then, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was the last one
The
that I really
games,
liked. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, the games since then just haven't really done much for me, and I kind of was waiting for them to do something that kind of changed it up a little bit more, made it a little new, or, there are things about Zelda that are ostensibly Zelda that I love. The boomerang, the sword, the master sword, the shield, fairies. Like, there are just certain things about Zelda, the music when you open a chest. Like, there are certain things that just feel good about Zelda. Some of it is nostalgic. Other parts of it are just fun parts of what, you know, makes a Zelda game a Zelda game. And right now, while there are a lot of those elements there, it doesn't quite feel like Zelda to like this isn't the way I want my Zelda games to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange. I in my head, I thought about like the transition from like where the Metal Gear Solid games were to what Metal Gear Solid 5 is. And I feel like that evolution is much more natural, where the elements that have always made a Metal Gear Solid game were still there, but then they just made it an open world that you could actually travel through and so forth for the most part. Where with this, I do feel like they have changed things that are fundamentally Zelda. And I don't. Part of it could be because I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now, and I'm enjoying that more than I'm enjoying Zelda, because Zelda, right now for me, feels tedious. Like, all of the small bits of micromanaging that you have to do. You start out with a couple of sticks and the sticks break and you need more sticks and you got the apples and you get like, just a lot of that stuff feels tedious to me and takes some of the fun out of it for me. And I don't necessarily mind tedium in games. I play Final Fantasy. They are tedious. I don't mind side quests. They're tedious. I don't mind trying to track every feather in a Assassin's Creed game. It's tedious. But all right, maybe not every feather. But there's something in the collector in me that, that kind of hits that mark. It hits that, I don't know, that Far Cry mark or whatever it is, right? I don't know. The characters are there, the sound is there, the enemies are there. You know, the fighting system to me is I don't know. I just kind of feel like, why am I still playing Ocarina of Time? Like, the Z targeting lock-on system is the same. The jumping and getting out of the way is the same. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like it's evolved in terms of those things, and I feel like the things that they chose to evolve are just things that make the game more tedious, not necessarily more fun. That doesn't mean you can't have a good time doing them, but for me, it's not clicking right now. And again, there are some other things on my plate that maybe I'll come back to this and it'll feel right. I'm going to keep going, you know what I mean, and just see if it feels better as it opens up a little bit more. I'm going to tell you that I haven't gotten to where I get a boomerang yet, but one of the things I've always loved about Zelda is chucking that boomerang at something, having it come back and chucking it again. And what I will tell you is that I found out that in this game, if you chuck a boomerang, you have to catch it. It doesn't just come back.
Sweet.
you have to catch it, which sounds awesome.
But I feel
But
you, yeah.
if you lose it, you lose it. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And it's like, no, the boomerang is just supposed to be a part of your attire. It's like Batman running out of batarangs. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's something about that bothers me,
I just want a
a
hook
bit.
shot.
But I feel you.
I'd be happy.
I feel you. Um, again, I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for, though, is that kind of thing. Like, you've always been able to get a torch, light a torch, start a fire. Like, those things are still there. I'm cool. It's not clicking for me right now. It may, but it's not. And maybe I got to get done with Horizon. Right now, that's where
I
my
can,
mind is. I'm on Horizon.
I can completely feel and understand that. I will say it did started clicking. Like, it is weird. Like, Zelda, it's this big open world. I'm like, all right, where are the people at? You know what I mean? Like, okay, like
Yeah.
but I've just recently gotten to like the first village that you get sent to. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm feeling a little bit more Zelda here in this village with stuff you could do. I'm picking up side quests. I could pick up chickens and throw them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Classic Zelda. Like, okay, stuff like
Right.
that. Like, all right, cool. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a lot more like, my favorite Zelda game is A Link to the Past, followed by Ocarina of
wait,
Time.
which one did you say?
But
You cut out.
my
Yeah,
favorite is A Link to the Past, followed by Ocarina
okay.
of
I
Time.
would say, all right, yeah, Link to the Past and Wind Waker for me, but yeah.
Okay, but in like Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past, when you start in a village, in a house, things are going on. You jump right into a dungeon. Let's go. Here's a sword. Let's go. Right,
Mm-hmm.
and you're around things and things are happening. This isn't like that. You know what I mean? This is a lot more like the very first Zelda, where you just start in the middle of a map and you just go. You know what I mean? Like, you walk out and it's kind of like, all right, go. And that's kind of what this is. And I get that. Like, that's cool. I don't have an issue with that. Again, just not hitting it
And
on
I'm
all
gonna tell you
fronts
one
for me.
thing.
I'm also having a really good time just playing through the story in For Honor, which we all need to get in and do some co-op on. But having a good time running through the story in For Honor.
Okay.
And am really, really looking forward to Ghost Recon on Tuesday. So I'm like, I got
Thank you for
to
reminding me.
bang out
I gotta
this Horizon.
gotta download. I gotta pre-order that tonight. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, you've been reminded.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty. It sounds good. It looks good. It's not clicking for me right now. I'm not, saying it's not good or whatever just yet, but it's not quite where I needed
I
to
will
be.
tell you one thing I do miss from other
What's that?
games in a game like this, but I get it with what they're doing with Zelda. I miss a run button. You can
Yeah.
deplete my stamina. I don't care, but I just miss a run button right now.
Zelda is, that coming from that original N64. Well, as you push the thumbstick further, you go faster. Like, that's supposed to be a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what felt tactile. Then. So yeah, I mean, I dig that though.
Yeah.
On the other hand, New Joker, I know you had a chance to play some Horizon. What do you think? Because right now, I'm enjoying Horizon better than Zelda. I have my issues with Horizon, but I'm enjoying it. So where are you on it?
So I probably haven't played Horizon as much as you have. I kind of went through did the prelude part of it, and then it was like a kind of a little mini time jump that you go through. And I
Right?
started, and I kind of maybe 20 minutes or so during that time. But I mean, overall, just that little bit. I mean, I like the gameplay so far. Um, it looks okay. I don't have any major disagreements so far with what I'm seeing. I haven't really had the opportunity to really fight anybody just yet, other than like the tutorial shooting at certain creatures or whatnot ever. but I feel like I may have a little bit more of a better opinion of it once I really start to get into that fighting element of the game. Because right now, and
Okay.
just doing, just that prelude stuff, it's a little boring than anything else. Um, but I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like once I get a little bit more into the fighting sequences and things like that, I think I'll open up a little bit more. But just because I haven't
Okay.
gotten too far into it just yet, it's kind of just like a meh kind of feeling.
Okay. I can dig it. Yeah, it takes. I mean, you got to play through the opening, I think, to kind of get it. It is very basic. That's my opinion on the game. It is very very basic in terms of like what it does. It is all of the cliches of an open world collectathon with a main story and a bunch of side quests. If you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
you can boil it down to that. There really isn't anything new as far as that's concerned. A lot of people seem to be raving about the way that the like fighting and so forth happens in it. I mean, it is enjoyable. There are some relatively thrilling moments to be had. I think that's a little more based on the way the AI works for the creatures that you have to battle. And the story has some interesting twists. There are a lot of compliments being thrown at Gorilla for what they've accomplished with this game, and I'm honestly not all that impressed. Like what they've done with it might be impressive compared to what they had done in the past, but I wouldn't say it's all that impressive compared to other things that we have seen in games like The Witcher or in Metal Gear Solid or for that matter in Zelda. It does take and borrow a lot of elements from those and do them pretty damn well. And it does have a solid hook. Like it's got like once you get in and you kind of start doing things and crafting things and you know it does have a hook. And I enjoy some stealth in a game, so I like kind of hiding in the tall grass and whistling for something to come over and then stabbing it to take it down. I don't really mind that. So and it's got that kind of collector's thing going on with it, and so forth too. So you know I don't think the game is incredible by any means. Um, However, I haven't played all the way through it. I couldn't give it a score. I can tell you that where I am now is kind of like I'm having a good time with it. Um, but not enough to feel like I need to play this and not play anything else. You know what I mean? There are other things that are on my plate, and right now, where I am mentally is I got this, and I got Zelda, and I got For Honor, and I got Recon, and I got Mass Effect getting ready
Oh
to knock
my
on my
god!
door,
Wait, when that
like the
comes
Three's
out,
Company theme song. So, yeah, so there's a lot to get through in the next couple of weeks, and but I am enjoying it, and it's pretty. There's no two ways about that. The animation is eh. A lot of people seem to be, the human being animations are okay. The talking animations are garbage. Like it's pretty bad. Their mouths move like marionettes. I'm not really impressed with that. Um, but the voice acting is pretty good. Um, you know, the kids look like puppets. But other than that, man, it's kind of cool. They look like Gelflings. If you are familiar with Gelflings from the Dark Crystal, they kind of move
Girlfriend.
like Gelflings, a little something something. But overall, the game's it's pretty damn pretty. So, uh, anything else, gentlemen? Should we wrap it up? We got games to play. I mean,
yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, got Zelda to get back to.
I hear you. All right, so then I think that's what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to us talk about the things that we love. Hopefully, you love some of the same things. Hopefully, you found some of this information we've given you informative. Uh, do us a favor, let us know that in the comments, if you would, on iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio or wherever you happen to be listening to this. If you caught it on our Facebook or through our YouTube, by all means, do the same thing there. Please like, share, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate that. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and on Twitter. We're at Loading Snacks. It's not that difficult. All you have to do is type in the name, and then you hit the little plus button, and then you're part of the family. That's a wonderful thing. And through there, you can generally find the rest of us. But if you want to get a hold of me, then by all means, grab hold, hug me. I go by Empty Shells on the socials. That's at MTSHELLZ. You can find me the same way across gaming platforms. Look for me on Twitch. Look for me on Beam. And look for me on Discord. Doing a little Discording now, ladies and gentlemen. Sin, talk to the folks. Let them know where they can get a hold of you, sir.
Of course. On the social networking aspect, on Instagram, Twitter, Sincere619. Gaming on Xbox, and coming in the fall on Nintendo, Sincere619. Yeah. And on the PlayStation, if you want to get at me, it's the same thing, just replace that I with an L, and you'll find me over there. Yeah.
New
Jokes.
Joker.
What about you?
So gaming wise, PlayStation, Xbox, and same thing actually. Believe it or not, now my Nintendo account that I've had for a while. Also, Instagram and Twitter is all New Joker 89. And then also, if you want to get at me on Facebook, you can check me out at New Joker's Adventures. And if you want to drop me that email, that's newjoker.loadingsnacks@gmail.com. And just remember, it's NUJOKER.
Yeah.
That's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to shoot an email to the podcast if you have questions or just want to make a comment, want us to go over something or talk about something or think we should change something or do something different. You want us to come out to something? Participate in something? We're generally open for things like that, especially if you pay.
Yeah.
Just shoot us an email at loadingsnacks@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. With that, we're going to wrap the show up. We are out. Toodles and loos.